Hey, I'm Nina. This is the Panic Button.
I'm Jessie.
So I was watching this clip of CNN, and this fella, one of the pundits, got so triggered that it was hilarious.
Oh,
And I wanted to show you.
okay.
Because it's something really, really ridiculous. I don't kid. I tell truth.
Nina, the truth teller.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen. It's not you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
Go ahead.
I'm not even going to listen to transphobia. Well, it's not transphobia because you won't hear the argument. It's not transphobia to say that someone who's a transgender female, trans woman. A trans woman is someone who is biologically male. That's just factual statements. That's not transphobia.
And he's talking about kids, boys and girls.
Right, but it's still never wrong to say that someone who has transitioned to a woman or a girl was previously. You can't transition from female to female.
Right, you can't.
That's just like physically impossible. So what's going on?
This fellow over here, he's trying to have a conversation. He's trying to get his point across, explain things to the left-wing people who just aren't getting it. And in order to have that conversation, you need to differentiate. You can't say the American people are not for girls being in girls' sports.
Right.
He has to say boys being in girls' sports. You can't say trans. What would that be? Trans girls in girls' sports? Like that's
it doesn't
when the
communicate.
American people talk. That's not how we talk. We don't talk like that. We talk like normal people.
Yes.
Boys and girls' sports. If you can't even have the conversation without them getting triggered like this, like, oh my God.
I won't even stand for it.
Yeah, then there's no point in having a conversation. You can't.
No, you can't at all.
No.
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is.
He just said he used the slur. Boy is a slur? I mean,
Is that what he's referring to?
Yeah. Did you hear him say a slur?
No.
I didn't. The only thing that he said that made this queen go off was boy. Boys. That's slur.
Jay, they're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this.
How do you do it? You can't. It's impossible without being really confusing. You have to be direct when you're having these conversations. Go ahead.
I guess you covered it.
You can tell, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The black lady who was just talking. So you can tell that she is more progressive.
She's trying to just,
like tiptoe.
Well, I understand what your point is, but can you maybe soften it so he's not as offended as he is right now, so that we could try and actually have this conversation like we're in elementary school and we need to pass a talking stick?
But how? How do you explain
You don't
it?
have the talking stick. You can't say anything.
But
take the talking stick.
But
now you can speak.
But you're telling people how to speak.
No, it's my turn with the speaking stick. How dare you fucking say that slur?
Okay. Well.
Nope.
Yep. Okay.
Since I'm being targeted here.
I don't.
There-
You're
no,
not.
no,
Just
it's
to be clear,
okay.
you are not being
But I
targeted.
am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically
It's okay.
saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to
but
sit
I want
here
you
and
calling you
bloviate
transphobic.
me.
But I
I'm
want
saying
you
you're
to-
using.
I'm sure that you didn't mean to be derogatory when you said boys, when you know that they are not boys. They don't want to be boys.
This kind of sensitivity shuts down any sort of conversation that can be had, because you're not respecting his point of view. You're not letting him talk. You're just jumping on him because you're offended. Well, I'll tell you, 75 million Americans are not offended by what he just said. And that's another reason why you lost. All of this stuff. Continue on and we'll keep winning.
At this rate.
And I'm Democrat. I'm not registered Democrat, but I am Democrat. Now I kind of sit somewhere in the middle because the left has gone so progressive, but
This is what they're doing though, and they're
It
alienating
sucks.
they're alienating their own people. And someone like this may open their audience to some more moderately
Yeah.
viewing people. But when they see things like this, it's going to take even the moderates away. People like
Yeah.
you who are registered independent, someone who along the middle of the board, is no longer going to listen because they're too busy yelling at each other and not
Yeah.
actually having the conversation they want to hear.
Have you ever been in a relationship or had a relationship with a family member where you were almost afraid to talk because you knew that it was like almost no matter what you said, they were going to yell at you?
Yeah.
That's how it feels talking to progressives, liberals, Democrats. That's how it feels. I don't blame people for not wanting to converse with them anymore because you have to play this verbal game where you're walking on eggshells, and Americans have had enough. You have to grow a spine and actually laugh. I know it's hard, but it can be done. You need to find comedy again. You've lost it. And your comedy now is just people on stage talking in their echo chamber and expecting applause for their opinions. And they're also like telling people,
How to think, what to do, what's
Yeah.
funny, what's not. How dare you follow my page or nothing else, or else you're going to be canceled.
and that's not comedy.
No, it's not funny. Have you been laughing lately?
Haha.
I want
saying
you
you're
to.
using
I
a
want.
phrase
I want to
that
give
you
you an
know.
opportunity.
So the way
No,
regular
at least that's
people
not-
interpret it,
That's not
which is why
regular
those
people.
ads were
That's not
effective.
regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and we're
case,
using
but
that
my point in
to
terms
take
of
away
its
healthcare from
effectiveness-
thousands
Just
of
get.
people.
Hold on. Just get to your point.
My point in terms.
First of all, he's wrong. That is how regular people talk. He's in his social elite.
Delusion.
Yeah. He doesn't know regular people, this guy. I can guarantee you he doesn't. And what else did he say? Small sliver of the population, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying, well, the American people think it's a big deal.
It's not as small as you're projecting it to be, and that's why people
Nope.
That's why people didn't get to your side, because it's not as small as you're projecting it to be.
Yeah, you're underrepresenting it.
You're dismissive of it, saying it's not happening when it is.
You guys have been doing this for the past 4 years. Oh, why do you care?
So do they ever get to the actual meat of the conversation?
We'll get
In
there.
terms of its effectiveness, regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested
And
that they were
lying
working.
in those ads over and over again, and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports. Which first
That's what it is, though. That's not rhetoric. That's actually being
What was
accurate.
happening? Yeah.
Very accurate. Your opinion is that it's rhetoric, but that is the opinion of only a very small percentage of Americans.
Yeah, especially after we all watched the Olympics.
To throw your words back at you.
First of all, we're
what's
talking
the-
about
what's the
5 people
language?
in the
What's the
entire
language
country.
you would prefer?
We're talking about trans girls being allowed to play with the people who are in their gender. And if you don't believe, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association.
The American Medical
This is not about the
Listen to them about what exactly?
That apparently that transition is going to be good for these kids.
What? And that trans girls, which isn't a thing, is the same as actual girls.
That's what they're trying to convince us
I've
of.
seen enough videos of high school boys who are trans girls competing against high school girls, and they're getting hurt. And now there's a shit ton of girls in high school who are forfeiting their matches if another team has a trans girl on their team because it's dangerous. This is a wedge issue, but it's a big fucking issue
It's a huge issue.
to a lot of Americans.
It's the safety of their children.
You're putting the feelings of a small percentage, as you would say, over the safety of 50% of the population.